My internet hates me a lot these days, but I think it's just because, like, I'm not bougie enough to buy that highest level of internet with the commoners. Hi, Chelsea. How's it going? Great to see you. Hi, Emily. All the way from Illinois. What's up? So this is, I think, the sixth episode of Quarantine with Christine. So pretty much while we're all trapped in our homes every day. Hi, Lauren. Look, you and your cousin are both in here. That's so sweet. Pretty much every day that I'm dropping in here. Hi, Mia. I just want to talk to somebody that I like and about coronavirus and hopefully get myself more educated. And, you know, also I would love it if you guys would join in on the conversation. So that's the point of this. Like, as you're in here, please drop some comments, drop some questions. So it's not just me asking my own questions, though, you know, I'm very inquisitive, so I got a lot. But today I'm really excited. This is like midday, and it's a different time than how we normally do this because I'm interviewing Chelsie Hancock, who lives in Italy, and at 5 p.m. her time, my time, is like in the middle of the night for her, and that would be rude to ask her to get up out of bed just to talk with me. I'm not that kind of friend. So I'm going to ask Chelsea to join me, and we're going to talk about Italy. I'm super stoked. So she should be popping up any second. But I want to hear how are your guys' quarantining stuff going? Are you guys doing okay today? Oh, hello, Chelsea.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great.
You're being held up by a syrup. I'm so sorry if you fall. I think you should be fine.
I'm being held up by syrup. That's really great. Oh, here's a question for everybody that's in this room right now. Is it syrup or syrup? Syrup or syrup? That's the question.
Syrup.
I think I say
syrup.
Right? I say syrup, but I know some people say syrup.
Zach just said syrup, so for
Alyssa is telling us that she's watching Julie and Julia. God bless the French.
Oh, yes.
Katie Fralick says syrup. I know that there are some people that call it syrup.
That's true.
It's like you say roof or roof.
Roof.
Me too. What do you call a writing utensil that's not a pencil, but like it's more permanent?
A pen.
A what?
A pin?
A what?
A pin?
Okay, so you say pin. But I think a pin is what you stick like into what are those sewing balls? No, it's not. It's yes, Mia, there are people that say rough for roof. I lived in the Midwest and I heard a bunch of them say it like that. But I think it's a pen. It's a pen, not a pin. Chelsea, you're cutting out on me for a second. Okay, there you are. Pen and pin are different. Mia, I don't know how they do it. They just do it like that. See? Yeah, there are people that say pin. Midwest people say pin and they say rough. And it's rough. That they say roof as rough. So, can you hear me all right, Chelsea? I think you cut out on me for a second.
It was my internet. I think it's better now.
Okay, we're fine.
Sorry.
This is a low production thing, you know. We're just chilling.
Being held up by syrup, yeah. Real low.
I mean,
level here.
That's about my style. So, okay, so just tell us a little bit about who you are. Like, why do you live in Italy? Where in Italy do you live? Like, not your address again, but like the area.
Yeah. No. So I'm Chelsea. I live in so I technically live in Cordanones, which is near Aviano. I don't know. My husband's in the military. We live in Italy. He works in Aviano. We live what? Sorry, he's yelling at me. We live about an hour north of Venice.
An hour north of Venice. Okay, so like Italy's shaped like a boot. That's about as technical as I'm gonna get. Where in the boot are you?
The top.
The top of the boot?
The top right. So, oh, that's
Top right
not
of the
it.
boot. Okay, see, I can flow with that. I can flow with that.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
my
have
level,
an
Chelsea. That's about the level questions.
kind of by the water.
That's okay.
We don't live by the
Okay,
water, but
that's
like,
cool. How
if
far
you're
are you
looking at
from the water?
it depends on what water. Like, there's not like fun sandy beaches to go to around here. Like, that's just not as much of a thing, which is kind of a bummer. I don't know, like an hour. There's a river just like right down the street
Okay.
that apparently people hang out at and pretend that it's like a beach. Haven't done that yet,
Okay.
but so
Hey,
yeah.
that's it's still kind of beachy. Okay, what do you miss the most about being in the States?
So I mean, short of family, because this is the furthest I've ever lived, I mean,
Mhm.
before here, I haven't lived more than 20 minutes away from like my like nuclear family, if that's a
Yeah.
word. So like short of just like that, Chick-fil-A, and
Chick
not really Chick-fil-A, just fast food in general. Yeah, just fast food in general, as
You
bad
miss
as that.
fast food?
I do, it's horrible. Oh, it's horrible.
That's such an American thing.
I know.
That's
Yeah. And
hilarious.
like, I've been locked in my house and can't go anywhere, and so now I'm like, somebody else could cook for me? That sounds amazing.
Hi, Anna. That's hilarious. Okay, what is your favorite thing about living in Italy, though?
The food.
I'm I'm gaining a theme here. I am sensing it. Okay,
Yeah,
how do
there's
you
definitely
compare Italian food? Like you love that, and then you love fast food from America. Like what's
because they're two very different things. I mean, and well, and then there's like Mexican food because that's not a thing here. The
okay?
closest Mexican food that we found that actually is like good is 2 hours away,
Oh
like in
no
a different.
way.
Like I have to drive to Slovenia. Well, that's not true. I have heard that there's a restaurant an hour away. We haven't made it there yet. But
Okay.
like we've been to, it's in a different country. It's in Slovenia, not in Italy.
No
Mexican
way. That's crazy.
is a real bummer.
Okay.
I don't remember what the question was. I just got distracted.
It's hey, it's fine. Okay, so tell us about the whole how like the whole coronavirus stuff unfolded in Italy. Like in the
Right.
US at least, I feel like it was surreal. Like it was like,
Yeah.
coronavirus has kind of been in the news for a while for us, and then suddenly it was like, oh my gosh, like everyone buy all the toilet paper, we're going into lockdown. And it like hit all at once. It was like churches canceled, everything's canceled. So what was it like in Italy?
So the last week of February, like the last Monday in February, I don't
Okay.
remember what day that was, or honestly how long ago it was, if I'm being honest. Um, so I guess the Sunday before that. So the last Sunday in February, went to church, everything was normal. And yeah, I feel like I had seen about it on Facebook maybe like once or twice. Like it was a word I had heard,
Hmm.
coronavirus. Didn't know much beyond that. And then that Sunday night, we there's a whole bunch of like Facebook pages for like bounces and whatever that are like Americans, in this area. And I don't remember if it was on that or like a group chat I was on or something. All of a sudden was just like, there's coronavirus. It literally like, that night just exploded out of nowhere,
Hmm.
and it was like we're not allowed. So this country is divided into regions.
Okay.
So like I'm kind of like counties. I would say that they're probably like the same, like Pima County, Maricopa County, like that kind of
Sure.
stuff for, two counties. Um, and Venice is an hour away from us, and it's in a different region.
Okay.
And I don't necessarily understand the government here, so don't quote me on this. But like each region has a president, somebody that's in charge of it and gets to
Okay.
make the rules. And Venice, the Veneto region where Venice is, had Venice and somewhere over by Milan.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly. Definitely Milan, like the Lombardy region, that's where like the big giant explosion
Oh,
of
dang.
cases. That's where everybody is dying.
Oh, gosh.
Um, And so like that was like shut down. You are not allowed to go into that region at all. Nobody's allowed in or out of that region because they were trying to
Okay.
contain the region. And then I don't remember exactly like I don't know. I don't think the Veneto region necessarily had it, but they had concerns of it, and that's where the airport is. Well, there's also an airport
Okay.
in Milan, where the airport around here is. And so that Sunday night, all of the like military people, because that's what my life revolves around, were like, can't go there, must get permission. Like I was picking somebody up from the airport that next morning, and I had to like call my husband's boss, be like, can I go to the airport and pick up these missionaries that I was gonna pick up anyway?
Yeah.
Um, so like kind of overnight, it was like, okay, everybody like freeze. We don't know what's
Sure.
going on. And then, and yeah, the Lombardy region was like, no go, nobody in or out. We
Mm-hmm.
tried to like and put that down. And I feel like that slowed, like that worked for a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
and then from that point forward, like we being the Americans, I can't speak for what the Italians could or couldn't do. Like we weren't allowed to go pick people up from the airport without like telling somebody so that if I think a lot of that was like so that they could track it if something happened, right?
Sure.
But so at that point it was kind of a little, it felt contained and it felt, as silly as it is, like it felt far away. Like it
Yeah.
didn't feel like it was going to affect us other than, I don't remember if they canceled school that week or the week after.
Okay.
I know that, so, no, it was that week. So that Monday, the Italians, that week was the week of Carnival.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a whole week of Lent. They're somewhere connected like that. And so, like, the Italians didn't have school that week
Okay.
anyway.
That was very similar to us because like it was like when coronavirus really started taking off. We were at spring break, and so like a lot of it was just like we're extending spring break was kind of the initial thing, and then it was like, oh, the rest of the semester is canceled.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
So the Italian, I think they were supposed to have school that Monday, but they were like, it's the one day this week you're gonna have school. We're gonna cancel it just out of an abundance of caution. Like it will be
Sure.
fine. And then I think it was that I don't think it was the end of that week. So that school was canceled for the Italians then anyway. And the Italians put out a decree, because sometimes all of these things they're all decrees.
Okay.
And I don't know if this was like for the region or the country. Like that's part of my problem. I don't know what's what. But at that point, they put out a decree saying no school for this week.
Okay.
Shut down the American school too, because the American school was supposed to be in. They did no school, and I think at that point, they hadn't prohibited large gatherings, or maybe it was they had prohibited large gatherings. I don't remember there being a number on it, but definitely like gatherings are bad and scary. Don't do that.
Yeah.
So by that Sunday, like I think that Saturday or Sunday night, that decree went through the next Sunday. So it was a week-long decree, no big gatherings, no school. We still had our oh hi Kathy. Sorry, I'm distracted.
No, that's great.
We still had our like Tuesday morning Bible study, but all of the kids were out of school, so there were 4 of us. But it was great. Like we had a great time. So then church was canceled, which was real weird and felt, I don't know, I didn't like it, but I understand, right? So, and then that next, like, then it just kind of turned into like okay, here's a new decree for the next week. And I think those first 2 weeks were just like avoid large gatherings. But then like Italy has like each town has like a weekly market, and those were still happening, and the stores were still open. Like people were still like, I think life was still happening.
Yeah.
And it's really weird that they were like no big gatherings, but they didn't cancel like the weekly markets, which granted, how a lot of people get their food, right?
Yeah.
So
when did the shift happen? Like, when did it go from like, yeah, like you guys should not gather, the markets are still open, to like, hey, everyone go inside?
So 2 weeks ago. So I think, and my math could be wrong. Somebody let me know if my math is wrong. I think today was day 14 of do not leave your house for any reason other than necessity, which would be like groceries, work, or medical, emergencies.
So
But
it was like
even that,
2 weeks of, or was it a full month of kind of like
it was
everyone's?
it was 2 weeks of like, this is weird. We have coronavirus. Venice and Lombardy, like Veneto and
Yeah.
Lombardy, are like shut down, but the rest of us were fine.
And
Other
then it
than
was
there
like, and then you had 2 weeks of like hard lockdown pretty much, besides necessities.
yeah, we've been on 2 weeks of like, I left my house today for the first time in like 14 days. It was great.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
I'm only losing my mind a little bit. It's okay.
Yeah, so you are then a few weeks ahead of us in this. So talk to me about, you've done the quarantine hard lockdown for a lot longer than any of us in the States so far. How does it feel different week 4 versus we're like starting week 2?
Um, so I don't know, week 3, I think it was week 3, they changed. So this has also been like, that's the decree, but then like they've slowly been like narrowing that, right? So like at first it was a reason of necessity and any work reason. So all of the stores were still open.
Yeah.
And then it like turned into like, no, only grocery stores. But then like, so like it feels like we're like, we keep getting in trouble and things are getting taken away by smaller and smaller bits. And so like right now I'm like, I don't think they have anything else to take away from us, but I'm sure they'll come up with something.
Yeah.
It just feels like I don't know, this has just felt really long, and I don't know what this looks like, but I'm taking it day by day, and that's all I can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
What would you say? This is a question that came in, I think, from Dr. Scott. What advice would you give to all of us here in the States now that you're 4 weeks in since it first started, and we're about like a weekend?
Take it seriously,
Mm.
but also like do your part. I think I made Zach talk me through this answer because I was like, oh, I don't know. And his suggestion was like, just like do your part.
What does that mean?
You can't control what other people are doing, right? But like you can control that you're staying home and you're reaching out and you're making the best of a situation that kind of stinks. Like full disclosure, it kind of stinks. I'm a little insane, but it's gonna be okay. And like I can't control what other people are doing, and I can't control that somebody's out like walking around for no good reason.
Sure.
But I can control like myself and that I'm doing these things to like help protect the people around me.
Yeah,
And
that's good.
I don't want coronavirus. Thank you anyway.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, just like making the best of it and also reaching out to other people because they're going through the same thing but also a different thing. And so I think it was from Annie F. Downs, somebody that I've been watching or learning about quarantine from said that like we all have like these feelings and they're not the same. And so to be cognizant of like I'm having all of these feelings and they're totally valid, and like he's having all of his feelings and they're kind of way different than mine, but they're also just as valid and like important. So I don't know, that's just
that's great. I appreciate that. Look at all these people that are popping in. Stacy, Haley. Okay, so Lauren asks, what has been the best part of quarantine, if there is one? And Emily wants to know, is there any end in sight to your quarantine?
So for the end in sight, right now the decree is set through April 3rd.
Okay.
And that's been like the end date, or the end of the decree date for a while now. I don't know how long it's been.
So that's like good.
Yeah. There was a March 25th. Hey, that's like this week. I think like the initial shutting down the stores was through March 25th, but school has been out until April 3rd for a while now. And then I think with the last decree, they pushed everything to April 3rd.
Okay.
Part of the problem with not understanding Italian, because I do not speak Italian unless it comes to food. There's that theme in my life.
There's the theme
again. Is I have to like rely on Google Translate for some of the like news, and I don't necessarily trust all of the translations. So I did see something that said that they're to expect this to go not necessarily this hard lockdown, but like these changes and some of the restrictions to go through May.
Wow, okay.
And there has been talk of cancel. So school is only canceled until the 3rd at this point, but there's definitely rumors and talk and expectation canceling school for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then there's the whole DOD stop movement that affects that. That's not for the Italians though. That's just for us. So like no military other than mission essential. Like there are nobody's moving, like PCSing, like they're like
Okay.
when you move for 60 days, which I
Wow.
think ends May 11th.
That's intense.
That was the overseas one, and I know they added one for the States, and that's different. I don't know.
Yeah.
But honestly, the best part has been all of the food that I've made because Zach can't get mad at me for making snacks when I'm home alone and can't leave the house all day. So I've made bread. I made white bread. I made sourdough bread. I made rolls. I made a lot of carbs. I made cookies.
That's awesome.
Made brownies.
Can I ask you, does it increase your anxiety that like you don't understand all the news? Like, has that been a thing where, because I'm thinking like there's a bit of it where like we understand all the news that's coming towards us, but then we're also like, don't trust the media, like kind of thing, you know? So, but like I also can read all of it. Does it make you feel more anxious or less anxious that you're like, I can't really tell if this is accurate what my phone is translating?
Right. Before the coronavirus, it was amazing. Like the fact that I can't read about like whatever, like even just like little crime, you know, burglaries down the street, like the fact that I just don't see that because I don't look at the news because I don't understand it is amazing.
Yeah.
Now it's a little stressful, but I don't think that it necessarily, I think it's actually probably been better for me because I can't read it, and so I don't go looking for it and like stressing about it and trying to read all of the things and figure out what to trust and what not to trust. Like it is what it is, and I know my rules because I'm a rule follower and I follow the rules, which is why I haven't left the house in 10 days or 14, however many days until today. Like,
yeah,
I know my rules. I've been very clear on what the rules are, and I'm following them. And I can't control anybody else following the rules. I can just live my life.
That's great. This is Mitch Johnson's question. It's very funny, but is wine the best cure-all for Corona?
I mean, that's the rumors that we have heard, and we've been like, I don't not Corona yet,
so it's working.
So good.
That's amazing. We have a bunch of people dropping in right now. If you guys have more questions for Chelsie about living in Italy, please write them. I'm gonna ask you 2 more more serious questions. But what are some of the great things you're noticing about Italy that you hadn't before COVID-19?
So me and Zachary, who's behind that wall, I don't know why I keep pointing at him, love Italians, and so I can't say that it's not, this is necessarily like something I didn't know before, but it's definitely something that I've seen a lot of and I really like, but like just how the Italians are like banding together and like supporting each other. Like I don't know if I saw it all over my social media, but I don't know if it made it to America, but the like 2nd and 3rd day of lockdown, somebody made this like idea where like to entertain your kids, have them paint a rainbow, and then you put Andra tutto bene. He's gonna yell at me. What? Andra tutto bene, which is everything will be okay. And so everybody's made these like posters and just like hung them out on their walls. So like when I went to the grocery store today, I saw like 4 different like beautiful like children's art that says like everything's gonna be okay, and it's just, and then like they've been doing come outside at whatever time and like sing the national anthem or like play music for your neighbors if you can play it, and like
that's
so
cool.
just like the way that they have like supported each other from a distance.
Yeah, I was watching a video about Italy. I think it was later on last week about everyone coming out on their balconies and just singing together in the neighborhood, and I was just like, that was like wonderful. Like what a crazy way for people to come together. And I think like we definitely see some of that in the States, like not to that extent. I think like obviously I think our culture is probably more individualist. Sorry, what?
Yeah. Like that doesn't happen. Like we were kind of bummed that like nobody in our neighborhood sings, but also like that's fine. I don't sing either, so I'm not getting out there and doing it. So like it's not everywhere, but it is still cool to see.
Yeah. There's a question that's popping in that says, do you guys have access to testing? So, because that's a thing that's like not happening in the United States right now.
Well, we have well, okay. If you are, here's my understanding. If you are like sick enough to go to the hospital, so our healthcare is through the Italian hospital. Well, like our primary care is through the base, but then like emergency care and like hospitalization and stuff goes through the Italian hospitals. So
Sure.
the Italian. So if you're sick enough to like get into the hospital, I think you get tested.
Okay.
I don't really know that whole process. There's at least 3 people connected to the base that have been confirmed.
Oh, okay.
So they got testing. We got the testing here to test for other viruses.
Okay.
Because I guess they would send it to Germany. Now they have the ability to do that, and they're expecting the ability to test for coronavirus to get here in April.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So it seems like the tests are limited in Italy and in the United States for sure. Okay.
I did see an article that said that they sent tests from here to America, and I was really confused because they say that we don't have them, so I don't know what that was. But yeah, so we have I've seen stuff about like how you can drive up to your Walgreens and get tested in your car or something like that.
Yeah.
We have one, but it's not for coronavirus, it's for like all the other viruses, because if they can decide that you have
something else,
the rhinovirus, that's the cold, right? If you have it, it's not very likely that you'll have both.
Sure.
If I can all of the things.
That makes sense. Thanks for asking that question. So what are some not so great things you're noticing about Italy that you hadn't before coronavirus?
Sorry, Zach just answered that question. I don't know if you heard it.
I didn't hear.
His response is socialism. Yeah, socialism's not great because that's what has me locked in my house right now. Yeah, I mean, I would agree. Like the socialism and the fact that just like all of a sudden we're like confined to our houses. But I feel like that's maybe happening there too. I don't.
So how are they confining you guys to your homes? Are there like policemen that are making sure, or how does that work?
Yeah. So in order to leave my house, I have to carry this paper.
Oh dang.
Yeah, hold on. Let me grab one that doesn't have my information written on it. Just, let's try not to put my information on the internet.
Yeah, there you go.
So, like, that's the Italian one. I can't read that. But so, like, it basically says, like, you have to put in, like, your name, your address, like, where you're born, your date of birth, and, like, where you live. And then you're certifying, I don't know, legalese. But basically, like, you have to, like, check which reason you've left your house. And if you get pulled over, you have to give this to the cop. Well, they don't, if you get stopped and checked, you have to, like, give this to the cop, and then they can, like, check it. Like, if you say that your reason is work, they're going to go to your boss and make sure you're going to work, or you could get Oh, yeah. Or you could get, like, a ticket, or, I think it's a 200, the rumor is, I have not received one. The rumor is it's like a €206 ticket. And then I saw something else that said, like, if you go out and, like, oh, it is. I forgot they updated it. Let's see. Of being aware of measures to contain legal. Being aware of the penalties provided for the provisions. It doesn't say this on here. He lied to me. I thought it did too, but it doesn't. You can get a ticket. You risk up to like 6 years in jail.
Oh my gosh.
But if I understand that correctly, it's if you test positive and like know it and you still go outside, you can get charged with involuntary manslaughter and go to jail.
Oh my gosh.
Don't trust me on that 100%, but that is my understanding.
Insane. That's insane. That's crazy. Lauren wants to know, how long have you had to use the paper to travel places? Because Arizona is not shelter in place yet. I know a lot of places have been in shelter in place, but I don't think there's like cops checking papers. Like, why are you outside?
I think that's kind of the socialist part, right? Like they say that you can't leave your house without your papers. 2 weeks. So
2 weeks.
When we hit official quarantine status, it was like you have to have these reasons and you have to prove it. I don't remember. We don't have a printer here, so it was really interesting for us. Like, I can't print it at home. Like, this will be interesting. And it's changed a couple times, but I think the reason it's changed is because they translated it for us. I don't think that like the Italians have been using has changed.
Sure.
Yeah, 2 weeks of like, I can't go anywhere without my papers.
You really can't go anywhere without papers. That's insane. That's really crazy.
That really stresses out the rule follower in me. I'm like, if I filled it out wrong and I get a ticket and it's all my fault.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would freak me out a bit. Well, any final words to all the people here from Italy?
Stay home.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. And like, I don't know. It's hard and it's I'm not gonna lie, it's not fun, but it's important. That whole like flatten the curve initiative, whatever, is the thing that I have found that like makes the most sense as to why I'm doing this. Well, I'm doing this because the government says I have to. But
yeah, sure.
I would be doing this if I were not here.
Yeah.
And my big thing is, well, two-parter, don't let what other people do like get to you, like, because there was a period, like a 24-hour period, where I wanted to throw my phone across the room a lot because I just kept seeing people like talking about like, oh, I went out. I'm like, we did, I'm gonna be honest, we had a quarantine party that first week because we're like, let's go hang out with our friends, like we have nothing better to do, and like it didn't seem serious, and it doesn't feel fair because I know now that it is serious, but and
it's like it's interesting because I feel like a lot of the news I've heard of, like a lot of people dying, has been from Italy. And like tomorrow I'm talking to my cousin who lives in Hong Kong, and like Hong Kong has millions of people on a tiny island, and I think at least last week the reported amount of cases was 150. So millions of people, but only 150 cases. And I think I'm excited to talk with her about it. I'm like, I want to know how they have like initiated I think it's just their government took it kind of seriously of like, this is a quarantine right now. Like, instead of like,
oh, can't handle, like, it just, oh, and so Italy is like the oldest population, like countrywide, like average math is hard, but like we have the oldest population, 22% of Italians are over the age of 65.
Wow.
And
so that puts a lot of people of the population at risk.
They're older. We live so close together. Like, we're in like farmlands technically, but we're still super close to our neighbors, like locationally. I don't know most of them, and so I think some of that
makes a lot of sense.
But and then at this point, like the healthcare system just can't handle it, and I think part of it is like the Lombardy region, like that first region, is one of the ones that's having so many deaths, and like. That's the one with the really bad video of like army trucks taking bodies away because of the crematorium. But like that, like those hospitals didn't have any other, like, you can only see so many people, and they couldn't leave the region because of the lockdown. So
Brooke agrees with you. She says population age and health rates are very different in Italy than any other countries. Thank you, Brooke.
It's really cool, like, to be in, like to live here. It's just a very different.
That makes sense. Tell us, what are your 3 top recommendations for movies or shows to watch while in quarantine?
We've been. I mean, this started before quarantine, but we've been going through Gotham, and I really am. I mean, it's like a we do. I don't know.
I don't know how many that yet.
I'm enjoying Gotham. I really like Gotham. I watched, what is it, like, To All the Boys I Used to Love or something?
That's like a rom-com. Did you watch number 2 or number 1?
I watched both in one day because I have a problem. And I don't know, I just really, it was something that was like cute and happy and fun. And that's what I need right now is cute and
There
happy
you
and fun.
go.
And I don't know what my third one would be, but you want to know what's really exciting? Starting tomorrow, I get Disney Plus because Italy hasn't
Hey,
Disney Plus access. I'm gonna watch so many Disney movies this
that's
week.
well, Dr. Michael suggested to us yesterday that we should watch things that we enjoyed from our childhood to help
Yeah.
us, like, just get nostalgic and be in a good mindset. And Disney Plus will definitely help most of us do that. So that's awesome. Well, thank you so much to you and to Zach for letting us know how it is in Italy. I mean, the takeaway, everyone, is that we need to stay inside and take it seriously. If you haven't heard it, the last like 4 days, that's what everyone is saying. So,
Yeah.
thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. We'll
I'm
talk
gonna
to
go to bed.
you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye.